Again. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to week number 4 of our Hot Pursuit journey. We have a smaller group tonight. Anita just got back from holidays, so she is not going to be able to make it. Safa is tied up with work stuff, and Anne is tied up with a client, so she will be late or not here at all. And Karina is on the phone driving back from a golf tournament that she was in today, in which she won a vacuum cleaner. Congratulations, Karina. That is exciting news.
Thank you. I'm very, very excited. Thank you. Thank you.
You should be. You should be. Bonnie, we can't see you yet. I don't know if you're going to be able to jump on. Can you hear us? Can you see us? And Val completed her triathlon 2 days ago. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling much better now. I completed all 3 of my goals. So I didn't want to be last. That was number 1. Number 2 was under 2 hours. Anything under 2 hours for me would be good. And then the other one was that I just wanted to finish it. So I completed all those 3 things. So I'm happy.
Good for you. Good for you. Were you like exhausted? How grueling was this?
You know what? Honestly, it was so interesting. I've never experienced that kind of like nervousness about something, because I was so nervous about the swim, and never mind the fact that I was going to be biking for 20 kilometers and then running after that as well. And I've never trained to do 3 activities in a row. So there was a lot of just unknown, and then hopping into the water with 200 people all at once, just everything about it was so different, and I've never experienced it. It was so fun though. I really enjoyed it.
Outside of your comfort zone, right?
Yep.
What did you learn about yourself going through this?
Noreen, just answer your question. I was in Clear Lake in Running Mountain.
I wondered because I knew there was one up there.
Yeah. So after I signed up, I learned it was apparently the hardest one in Manitoba. But that's okay. I did it. And what did I learn about myself? Honestly, a lot of that challenge was so much in my head. I didn't train that hard. I trained, but for like maybe 2 months that I actually trained harder. And that they have this idea, or I've heard that 90% of Olympic athletes, not 90%, 90% of it is mental, and then the 10% is physical. So it's way more about like you're tripping out yourself. It's not actually there, that what you're creating this idea of what's wrong, or so yeah.
Do you have the will to drive yourself forward to succeed, right? So many people hit that first wall or whatever and then give up, and instead of pushing through the pain in order to drive forward, right?
Yeah, and it was it was interesting because I could have easily given up. On Wednesday, I fell off my bike and I destroyed my elbow and my shoulder. So I was like, great, this is 3 days before my triathlon. And then I got, with the combining and the smoke, my allergies were just like closing in my throat all week. And so it would have been easy to be like, oh no, you know what? And my car stopped on me, so I'm not driving my car. That all happened days before, and it would have been so easy to just say, you know what, I'm not going to go. There's too much going on, but I did it anyway, and I feel really good about it. So, yeah.
Oh, we're proud of you. Congratulations. Good job.
Thanks.
Good job. So as we jump in tonight, what did you get out of the exercise? We're going to start with going back over the exercise for this week. So the Can I Borrow Your GPS exercise. What were some of the answers? We don't have time, and we're not going to answer every question in here. But what were some of your takeaways from this exercise on the Can I Borrow Your GPS? Oh, we lost Karina. She must have hit a dead zone. So who's going to go first? Noreen, there you go. You're up.
I didn't actually talk to someone, not a one-to-one conversation with someone who is an entrepreneur.
Okay.
But I went to an informational session with someone who her life has been starting businesses and she gets tired of them and she sells them, and then she starts another one, and her husband now has told her it has to be 2 years before she is allowed to start another business so that he can keep up to what she's doing. And it was very interesting listening to her talk about it. And in that, she answered a lot of the questions that, had I sat down, I would have asked her. The biggest thing I learned was her customers, and the way she starts a business is a conversation with people, like a one-to-one. What do you want? What would you like to see? Not so much as what she wants to make her business. What do other people want her business to be?
Right. And
she starts with people who believe in her. And those were the two big things that I got that she considered when she was going to start a business. Mm-hmm. Is it something that people want? How big can I make it? And are there people who believe in me that I can head them in the correct direction for whatever service I am providing?
Wow, that's good, actually. Because the whole belief in you part, right? I mean, you can have a belief in you, but if nobody else, if you don't have those people around you that can encourage and believe in you as well, then you're almost setting yourself up for defeat unless you're really a strong-willed person, and you can have persistence through whatever, right?
Exactly.
Perfect. So, like some of the questions, so some big takeaways, how will you use what you learn? And that's kind of, so from your conversation with her and your desire for where you want to take and really get your business off the ground, how will you use what you learned from her in pursuing your own hot pursuit, your own dream?
I'm paying more attention to what the people that I deal with, what they want, such as they've been going on these bus trips for I don't know how many years. They know people by sight, but they don't know them by name. So what I'm starting to do is I'm introducing everybody when we get on the bus. And I'm also trying to get snippets of information about people's lives. And were you a farmer? Were you a seamstress? Did you work for, were you a pharmacist? Or what brought these people, what formed who they are today? Mm-hmm. And one of the things I'm really hoping is to get people to be more considerate and not bully.
Okay.
That's a huge thing.
So you're finding that an issue in some of these instances?
Yes.
Okay. It's just the strong personality types you're trying to take over and take the lead, right?
It's strong personalities that don't want to accept how other people have lived their lives, or that they don't know how somebody else has come to be the person they are. Like, I do have one lady who she's 90. She has had a very difficult life, and I know that because I know the family, so I know her background. And I have other people who they have their own issues, so they pick on her so that it makes them, it makes them look better to other people on the bus. And it's kind of like, you know what? I know that seat doesn't have her name on it, but there's a reason that she sits there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't pick on her and make her feel bad. It's a seat on the bus. For heaven's sakes, just find another seat.
Sort of like the seat in the church, right? Everybody sits in their same seat every Sunday. Well, and God forbid somebody take my chair, because that's my chair.
You know what I thought of when I first came across the problem? Dairy cows going into the barn. They have a certain stall, and don't you take it, because they will literally back the other cow out. If she goes in my stall,
Yeah.
She will make them, like, there'll be a fight. And that's what I thought of.
Maybe you should share that story with people next time they complain about who's in what seat on the bus. You know what? You're all reminding me of a bunch of cows right now. Maybe not. That might not be good for business, but thank you for sharing.
I won't put it in that way, but there's probably some unique story that goes along that lines, because I'm starting to tell funny stories on there too.
Good.
Like funny jokes that are publicly acceptable. So
Okay.
I might find one of those.
Need to intertwine that somehow. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us. We're going to come back to you in a little bit with some other questions when we talk about Journal from the Journey. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Bonnie. 3 big takeaways.
Okay, first of all, I wanted to thank Valerie for sharing the tools that she had before she started her big feat there, because we have so many reasons why we can say, you know what, change of plans. So that thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And Noreen, Helium put out a beautiful story about a seat on the bus. It's an article of the right seat on the bus. Maybe go on their website and look that up. It's really good. But anyways, 3 big pieces of advice. Learn all you can about it. Be patient. And choose your employees carefully. Those are just 3 that this gentleman gave me.
Okay. So let me ask you a different question than I asked Noreen then. Are there any adjustments that to your current course that you need to make after this interview?
Yeah, where did I answer that? I have to learn to say no to the squatters in world. Saying no to people that are hard done by. I have a really hard time with that. Mm-hmm. And I've found out from doing this exercise that one of my major problems is not the problem that I thought it was at all, but it was about, I had to backtrack even more and learning to say no to those people that were, I wouldn't say, I don't know if taken advantage, but I guess some ways taken advantage because they know that I've been there and I know what it feels like, and have a big heart in that way, and I need to say no sometimes. I have a hard time with that.
Yeah. And it is difficult because we see a need, we want to meet it. We know that we've had experience there. We want to add, we want to support people and uplift people and encourage people. But at the same time, if you say yes to all of this stuff, it's going to deplete you emotionally, physically, spiritually, and then you won't be any good to the people that actually do depend on you, which are your foster kids, right? And your son.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh, good. Okay, excellent. Valerie.
I love this.
Oh, sorry.
No, I love this chapter. It untangled a lot of things, actually. So
good, excellent. Valerie, I'm coming to you.
I am really
and
sorry.
Sylvia, then Jen and Karina. You didn't do it?
No, I didn't. Because of that crazy week,
You ran a triathlon. It's okay.
I'm sorry. It's not really okay, but my week caught up with me, and I totally missed the ball on it. So. Okay. I apologize.
Cool. Well, you know what? You have 2 weeks now to do. You can do this one, and then we have our time tracking exercise because we do not have a call next Monday. Just a reminder of that, no call next Monday. I am in Ontario and will not be available at this time. So you have 2 weeks. We're good. Perfect. I'm going to come back to you when we talked about, I don't know if you had a chance to answer any of the Chapter 3 Journal from the Journey questions, or maybe even just asking some of the questions. You can think of some answers off the top of your head, but I'll come back to you in a little bit, okay?
Sure, sounds good.
Sylvia, did you have a chance?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so 3 takeaways.
That I need to love what I do, that I need to motivate myself daily, and do what it takes to succeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So one of the questions on here is, what intentional action are you inspired to complete after your interview? So are those 3 takeaways, is that your intentional action? Are you going to put action behind what you just said your takeaways were?
Yeah, so I need to call more people. The other action is to continue just listening to motivational videos, and I have to get back on meditating because I started meditating and then I did it for like, I don't know, 3-4 days, and then I didn't do it after.
That sort of sounds like me and journaling, right? I always get on these I got to journal because I talk to people. You need to journal. That's what successful people do. I start journaling. I do it for 3 or 4 days, and I fall off the wagon. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
We can hold each other accountable to that, okay?
Sure. Yeah. I used to journal a lot actually before.
Yeah.
Long
I'll ask you if you've meditated. You can ask me if I've journaled, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good.
Sounds good.
All right.
And the other action is just, I guess, getting back to basics with my business. And just, yeah, I think I just need like a refresher with everything in terms of just certain things that I intend on doing.
Right.
But yeah, just getting back to basics and yeah, and just setting some concrete goals.
Okay. Well, I think coming up this week with our exercise was actually scheduling our day for this coming week. That might give you some motivation to actually schedule in the time to actually make sure that you're making those phone calls, that you're contacting some new people, making some new connections on LinkedIn or whatever, and going to some of the meetings at the office, so you can get around the other advisors that are out there doing this thing, so you can get inspired that way, right?
Yeah, I have been scheduling my times like every day almost.
Okay, good. So this exercise will be easy for you.
Yeah, so it's so it's really good that I've been doing that, and I have been plugging into the training sessions. I don't always drive to the offices, but I zoom in.
Okay.
And then I did some marketing material last week. I went to 40 houses and dropped off my business card and a flyer.
Oh, perfect. Good for you.
So yeah, and that actually, it's weird because I was doing a training session the week before that, and something just clicked and it inspired me to just do it. And
Perfect.
So I went to Business Depot and then did that. So I still will do that as well, because I only did like a very small area.
Yeah.
And it didn't even take me long, like 11 minutes, because my fitness tracker tracks my walking.
Perfect.
So yeah, I felt really good about that, and just going out there and doing that. Yeah. I don't know how effective that will be, to be honest with you, because it's not really face to face. So I'm not really building the relationships. Yeah. But I guess doing something is better than nothing.
I was just going to say you took some action, right? And just to refresh, Sylvia and Jen both actually work with the same company. They're independent financial advisors for a company called Experior Financial Services. Mm-hmm. Great company. I know the owners really well, Jamie and Leanne Prickett. They're amazing people. So your success is dependent on the amount of people you talk to and the amount of business you write, right? So the more people you get your name in front of, the better your odds are of actually having some success in that area. So good for you for actually taking some action. And this week, scheduling the time and let's take some more action, right? Because we've got 2 weeks till our next meeting. So
yeah, good. I have 2 networking events tomorrow. So
perfect. Excellent. Take a stack of business cards with you and make some relationships, create some relationships. Mm-hmm. Karina, can you jump in? Do you have signal?
Yep, I'm good. Okay. I'm good for a little bit longer. I'm just passing Carmen, so it's going to get crappy right away. But it's all good.
Crappy in a minute, so I'll let you talk now. So some big takeaways, something you've learned.
Yeah, the big takeaways was, number one, be careful with who you trust with your dreams. Number two was prepare to starve. Prepare to have times of drought where you need to be financially stable enough to carry yourself through that time. Yeah. And number three was know the cost that you're willing to pay in order to achieve your dreams. Wow. And so what I learned out of it was, for sure, I need to evaluate what am I willing to sacrifice, what am I in order to get to my dreams, right? And yeah, that's a big one for me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. So what actions are you going to take to after this interview?
Number one, be more careful with who I talk, like who I share my dreams with.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that don't want you to succeed, and I need to be very careful with who I share that information with.
Yeah.
Number two, I mean, I need to make sure that I have my wealth set up so that I can carry through those times, right? So
right, yeah,
that's absolutely. A big thing. I'm also I'm doing Dave Ramsey right now too. So it's kind of like you're preparing for those things, those situations. So good.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Excellent. Good. Thank you. Yep. So I want to jump onto the journal from the journey from the book. So looking back on chapter 3, and there's actually 6 questions here, and there's 5 of you. So we're just going to answer. We're going to go around the room. We'll start with Noreen, and we're going to just answer one question each. Okay. So Noreen, if we just look at even question 1, think of a positive defining moment from your past. Did you sense that it was a defining moment at the time? And looking back, were there any signals that it was a defining moment? You feel comfortable answering that one?
Sure.
Yeah.
The positive defining moment was making the decision to move out of my hometown. Life had just got to that thought that I felt I couldn't stay there, but there had to be something specific that happened that made me feel I was no longer responsible for other people. Mm-hmm. So making that decision, and I am not once a decision is made, I don't look back and wonder if I made the right decision. I make the decision. I have the information, and this is the decision I make. So if I get more information 2 days down the road, I don't look back and wonder if I made the right decision. This is the information I had at the time, and this is the decision I made. And I broke up a relationship that was not healthy. Yeah. I stopped being accountable for him and his son, and decided that I was accountable only for myself because I couldn't control their behavior.
Right.
And I left. I phoned my daughter, and she was 100% behind me. And she actually came home and made sure that he knew that he was never coming back. So having somebody behind you is really great, but making sure that when you make a decision, don't look back and rethink it. Just keep going.
Keep going. Move forward. Good. Thank you for sharing that. So maybe Bonnie, in response to that first question, we don't know what your response was, but maybe you could give us some detail. The question 2 is, what decision did you have to make, and why was it difficult? So maybe really quick, what was your defining moment, and then what decision did you have to make, and why was it difficult?
3 years ago, I was finally approved to foster again, and I had a very colorful history. And it took almost 5 years to get a call to be considered as a foster parent again. And then it took 14 hours of home studying. And at any time there, I could have just said, I'm not going to. This is too hard. But I kept it, and I really enjoyed this time, and it was real eye-opening. And then the day they called and said, we have a boy for you. And it was like 11:30 at night, and I was scared. All of a sudden, I was so scared. I just wanted to say, I changed my mind. I'm just going to screw him up anyways. So, that's a story of my life. So I'm just going to say no. There, I'll be able to go to sleep. Well, then I couldn't go to sleep because I knew that I was chickening out. And so, it came to me, like, God gave me this calling. He gave me this gift. He put this inside me. He put the resources in my path, and he was making a way already. He'd opened up a way. Everything that I had worked so hard for and waited so long for, This is now 9 years later, 8 years later, and it's finally here. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And I went to sleep and I slept soundly. And the next day, my first little guy came, and that was 3 years ago. I've had him for 3 years, and he is anything but screwed up. He's an amazing young man.
Yeah.
Since then,
it's amazing how the negative thought, if you allowed that to take root, right? I'm looking for somebody who's just read this earlier tonight.
Is it in the chapter?
No, it's in actually the book Think and Grow Rich, but he talks about autosuggestion and faith and your benefits of the subconscious mind. So remember, your subconscious mind functions voluntarily, whether you make any effort to influence it or not. This naturally suggests that that thoughts of fear and poverty, right? So negativity, all the negative thoughts serve as stimuli on your subconscious mind. Unless you master these impulses and give it more desirable food upon which it may feed, then you're going to fall prey to the negative, right? So giving your mind
by default.
Sorry? Default?
By default, you'll just slip in the negative, eh?
Your default is going to be that poverty, that negative, that scarcity mindset, all this other stuff, right? I can't do it. I'm not good enough. Yeah. From Melissa's book, like, people get stuck because they wait for their circumstances to change instead of choosing to change their circumstances, right? I had Valerie, a crappy week, car broke down, fell off my bike, hurt my shoulder, hurt my elbow, all this other stuff going on, piling up against me. Forget it. I'll run next year. Right? But if you had given into the thought of giving up because of all this other stuff, allergies, smoke, it's really smoky right out here right now, Sylvia, with the forest fires and stuff. But you could have given up, and you know what? And if you had, I honestly believe you would have been beating yourself up for weeks to come.
Yes.
Because you will have let yourself down. Nobody else would have thought anything. Hey, you had a rough week. I don't blame you. Most people are like, I don't blame you. Nobody's going to come along and say, you wuss, right? But you would be beating yourself up for weeks to come and be living in regret until you had the opportunity to do it again. Bonnie, you would have been living in regret right now, right? And the kids that you have been able to bring into your life and speak into their lives and be a positive influence in their lives for the first time in a long time, you would have been beating yourself up had you slipped back into and allowed the subconscious mind to get into this negative and scarcity.
Yep.
Right? Maureen, I'm going to just stay in the position because it's more comfortable, or maybe it is uncomfortable, but I'm used to this. I'm in familiar territory. I know what I need to expect. I'm just going to stay here and suffer through, right? It's my cross to bear, so to speak, right? But no, you could have allowed yourself to sit in that, but no, you said, no, I'm not going to sit in this anymore. I deserve better. I am worthy. And you were able to get yourself and pull you out of that. Sylvia, moving forward in your business, you're going to allow the subconscious mind to say no, or you're going to feed it with that positive stuff, getting around the other business owners, getting out there and onto the street, handing out your flyer, making contacts. That's going to overcome that fear of that negative stimuli, that scarcity mindset. Karina, sharing your dreams with people that are going to support you and love you and encourage you no matter what. And you have that group right here. So anyway, sorry, end of my rant. I apologize, I went off on something there. Okay. Well, Valerie, what gave you the courage to act in the situation that was maybe your defining moment?
Well, I guess this was quite a few years ago, but it was really difficult because the decision I made was against kind of what everyone had already said to do. And it ended up putting one of my family members, not my immediate family, but an extended family member in jail, which was in Mennonite culture is really bad. And because you shouldn't, I guess there's a belief that you shouldn't put, because someone made your life bad, you shouldn't put someone else in a bad spot. But to me, this was a lot worse than something that you just brush off like that. It's not something you put under the rug. And because of it, none of my extended family members for the last 5 years have ever even contacted me. So I basically gave up that entire family for because I didn't want this to happen to anybody else anymore. And the best thing for me is I can sleep at night. I don't know how they can, but I can sleep at night. And I know it'll never happen again. And I know I did my part and everything that I could do. And I felt so much better after, and it was like a weight off my shoulders. And I had some really solid group of people around me while it was going on that they kept me going the whole time. And one thing I would say through it is like not becoming a victim. Or it was like for the first while, I think I rode on this boat of being the victim, and it was like it living that way is not enjoyable at all. Being the victim, like you can only do that for so long, and it's just like you're living it. I don't even like you're living that life over, or that scenario over and over and over again. And it's like as soon as you can get over it and move on and stop making it your life, you just, I don't know, you like can feel free. I don't know. I see so many people always complaining about their scenario and their situation and how bad their life is, but it's like you made the choices that got you there. Now you got to get out of it, and the being the victim isn't going to help you anything. You gotta be stronger than that. So that's the one thing I'd have to say. It was very tough, but once I got through it, it was like amazing. So.
Well, you became the victor in the situation, and you took power, right? You got your power back.
Yep, exactly.
Good. Excellent. So Karina or Sylvia, you both have, maybe going through this. Karina, going through this exercise, what do you think you were able to get clarity on in your defining moment situation?
I think that I spent a lot more time alone. Like I spent a lot of time, a lot of quiet time thinking, right? I don't value that enough. And I that's what I did at that time.
Okay, perfect. Good. And that's actually going to be one of the key things moving forward into the next week, well, over the next 2 weeks, is finding that time to celebrate you and take some time for yourself, right? And we're going to see that it says, and we're going to talk about planning self-care this week at least twice for 30 minutes. Right? That's going to be intentionally planning self-care over the next 2 weeks, actually, for 30 minutes each. So we're going to take 2 weeks to do this exercise. So you'll get extra self-care. Perfect.
Sounds good.
And then Sylvia, real quick, what lessons or learning could you apply from the situation that was your defining moment as you continue to pursue your dream?
I actually didn't do this part. I can't think of a defining moment from my past, to be honest.
Well, give it some thought over the next couple of weeks, and if you come up with anything, great. I just want to really quick touch base on your GPS, right? So we had to do the scoring again, find out where our GPS, where am I headed, your fuel tank, your temperature gauge, and your RPMs. Did anything increase from the last time with clarity and your fuel gauge and your RPMs and so on and so forth? What did you learn about you doing this exercise for the second time? Anybody jump in?
My miles per hour was decreased, but everything else increased.
Okay. Why did
I think it's because my sister in the hospital, right? Like everything kind of slows down, your whole drive and everything. Your focus shifts, right? And so I think that's why. But everything else increases, so that's good.
Okay, that's fair. Good. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice?
I think everything in.
Lost you, Bonnie.
Sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Everything increased a little bit. That was good. I was kind of surprised because my mom was diagnosed with lymphoma about 2 weeks ago. And so it's been a lot of appointments to Winnipeg, appointments to Winkler, to the doctor, and it's added a whole nother bunch of things on my plate. And but it's amazing the time that we've been able to spend together during traveling and sitting in waiting rooms together. And I've still been able to get most everything else done and still have that time to get by myself and reflect and to and I'm passing this on to her, which is what she really needs, because she's always had, everything has been, pretty good for her. And now she just lost her husband in January. My dad just died in January. Now she's having to put some teeth to her faith. And it's pretty cool watching her bloom into somebody that I never seen before. So
right, that's good.
Yeah, so excellent. I'm sharing this stuff with her too.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else want to jump in?
Yeah. So mine has increased as well.
Good.
Yeah, pretty much all the areas, I'd say.
Okay.
I mean, well, like other than the journaling, which I didn't do, and some of the other things, right? But I mean, overall, like, it has increased. And so, yeah, I mean, I think last week was a good week for me. I felt motivated. I did things I needed to get done. So, so that was good.
Perfect. Excellent. Yeah. Anyone else real quick? Going once? Going twice? Okay, 3 times we're out. Okay, we're moving on. So we're gonna watch Melissa's video here real quick. Okay, let me pull it up. I've got far too many windows open. Where is she? Here we go, Hot Pursuit.
Hi Dream Builders, Melissa West here. Welcome to Passing the Commitment Test. One of the biggest misconceptions about dream discovery is that there is one single light bulb moment when the path forward becomes crystal clear and there's only smooth sailing from that point on. Oh, how I wish that were true. Your moment of clarity, as powerful as it may be, is just the beginning. I've had numerous people ask me how I made such a huge commitment when I still lacked clarity. I felt like I was still wandering in the dark. And now I wish I could give them some impressive and fancy answer, but I simply made a decision. I knew that if I did not pursue my dream, and this program specifically, that I was going to regret it. Now, I can't tell you exactly why that particular coaching certification program spoke to me so deeply. It just did. But if you believe in God, the universe, a higher power, if you have an intuition, you will understand what it feels like when something bigger than you is guiding and directing your every move. So I took a leap of faith. I trusted it. Now, I have to say, I absolutely love when people tell me they trusted it and they took a leap of faith. That's a powerful thing to do. As a professional coach, though, I hear all the time how my clients say they have faith. They're a person of faith. They trust that all will be taken care of and that the answers will come and that a higher power is guiding and directing them. But when it comes to taking that leap of faith, that's another story. They may have faith, but they're unwilling to act on it. And my entire life is built around helping people identify their dream and then acting on it, taking steps in the direction of it. I'm fascinated by what makes some people wait while other people take that leap of faith. I found that many people get stuck in this stage. They wait for their circumstances to change instead of choosing to change their circumstances. And as a result, they treat their dream like a hobby. It's impossible to achieve dream-level results with hobby-level effort. And a dream with half-hearted effort, a dream without sacrifice, that's all it is. It's just a hobby. Now, I don't know what your dream will require of you, but I know that all dreams come with a test. Though my initial commitment test came through a financial sacrifice, yours may be different. Yours may require a sacrifice of your time, your energy, your focus. Now, I'm sharing how my test came to me through my own stories, but keep in mind that these tests come with every journey, no matter who you are. Your dream may look nothing like mine. Yours may be more leadership focused or family focused or faith focused. It may be something completely unique to all of us. It doesn't matter. Passing the commitment test is part of the journey. Are you ready to move on to pass the commitment test in your journey? If so, then hang on tight and let's go for the ride. Trainers, the floor is all yours.
Muted. There we go. I was muted. Can you hear me now? I don't know how I got muted. Anyways, so this chapter, Bonnie, you said you got a lot out of it. You really liked it. What really jumped out at you?
That I am not as disorganized and unfocused and unaccomplished as I thought I was, and that is like I am tracking very well, and that was I was because I was a little bit discouraged, I guess. I was angry at my mom for getting sick. It was, this is not the way that things were supposed to be going. And so, some of the things in my home, they just felt like they were a little bit coming undone. And that's why, like last week, I didn't participate very much. And
right.
And it's just out of fun feet here in this new adventure. Hey?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, she talks in here about the dream, and this is true this is going to be true for any dream you wish to pursue. But she talks some people treat their dream like a hobby, but it's impossible to achieve dream level results with hobby level effort. And a dream with half-hearted effort, a dream without sacrifice, is only a hobby. So are we doing what we're doing as a hobby, or are we actually pursuing it with everything in us, that burning desire to have success in whatever that path is we've chosen to be on? So some of the questions for the discussion on this is, what price will you be willing to pay to chase your dream? And it's actually kind of funny because Bonnie's taken the Put Your Dream to the Test mastermind group last summer, and there's the cost question in there. Valerie's taking it right now. Tomorrow or next week will be our last session, depending on how tomorrow morning goes. Are you coming tomorrow morning? All right. So Valerie, maybe you want to add, I'm going to throw this question to you right away. What price will you be willing to pay to chase your dream?
Sorry, there you go. What am I willing to pay? I'm not sure. Like I feel like I kind of feel like I'm living my dream half the time. Like I feel like I'm in it right now. So it's good. Okay. What am I willing to pay? I'm willing to sacrifice time. I'm willing to sacrifice whatever time it takes to get there. If it means I think I've always figured out a way to make the lifestyle that I have work for myself. So I've always found another income source or something. So it's not that like if I had to give up some of that stuff, I would, but I feel like some of that stuff is connected to why I'm able to be more productive or more efficient. Like for example, doing more physical activity or exercise or whatever, and taking the time to do that, I feel like has really leveled me up to be 100% always at work. Like my 8 hours, I am working the entire time, and I'm always doing something, and I'm making sure I get everything done that I need to get done. I don't need to do it in 12 hours. There's no reason to do that anymore. So that's one thing. And I don't know. So what am I willing to give up? I'm willing to give up just about anything, but I don't know. I feel like I've done a pretty decent job already at cutting the people that I don't need to spend that time with. Right. And so, yeah. I don't know, like when it's like, for me, owning a business is my ultimate dream, to run a business. I don't know what that is yet. So when it kind of comes along, or when I figure out exactly what that is, I think I will be ready to do just about anything to make it go.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. Noreen, what about you? What price are you willing to pay to chase your dream?
I think pretty much it's the time is no problem.
Okay.
The energy is no problem. Financing is always a problem. So, but it's just something that you get around. Like,
right.
You do it. I guess acknowledging the fact that I'm going to have to bring other people into my dream, other professionals,
right,
such as lawyers and accountants and all the rest that you have to deal with to make sure your ducks are in a row.
Yeah.
I think you pretty much have to have the idea in your mind that you'll give up whatever it takes if it's really your dream.
Yeah. Well, she talks in the book too, I think the line is actually bolded: each sacrifice you make builds your belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sacrifice X so I can get to Y and Z, right? Because this is not as important as this is, right? I'm going to sacrifice my time, in my home office here studying. And I had a 2-hour, 5 to 7 tonight. I was on a 2-hour call for the course I'm taking, the 7-month course I'm taking on this book, with the author of the book and a group of other people, as we're learning to dive deeper and to have better and more better conversations with people, so it'll help my coaching business. I jumped right from there onto a call for my Think and Grow Rich study group until 5 minutes to 8 or 7 minutes to 8, when I hopped off of there and came on to here. Right. And then at 9 o'clock, I'm going to bed, because tomorrow morning I have to be up at 5:30, so I can leave at 6:30, so I can do a mastermind group at 7 o'clock. And then, there's that's my night. Right. But I'm willing to sacrifice time doing other things so I can study and prepare and make myself better. So hopefully I can add more value to my clients. That's the cost that comes along with what I've chosen to do. So, I mean, being, sacrifice so you can build the belief. Good.
Yeah.
Sylvia, what price are you willing to pay to chase your dream? And Karina, I'm coming to you next.
I don't know. That's a good one. I'm still trying to figure out what my true dream is. I mean, yes, I love helping people, but I think it's getting myself into a state where I'm focused again. I mean, I do the networking things and all that, and that makes me feel good because I step out of my comfort zone and everything. Mm-hmm. But I think also it's patience, right? It's having that patience, and I think it's my patience is running thin in a way. So it's I feel like, okay, should I really be doing this, or should I just be doing something else? Right. And so, yeah. Well,
that's where that faith question has to come back in. Do you really believe that you want to do this? And from our conversations in the past, I believe you do. And I think maybe, and don't take this the wrong way, I think maybe you've lost your way a little bit, right? And once you rediscover that and reignite that spark, it'll get you back on track again and focus to do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that accurate maybe, or am I off base?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
But so, I mean, yes. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you talk.
But yeah, I mean, I am willing to sacrifice, obviously, if I want to grow my business and, and do things. And yeah, and I've had to say no to people that, I've had to say no to my goddaughter who wants to spend every waking moment with me, Yeah. and her sisters and stuff. So, I mean, I've had to be like, no, can't see you. And, I've got this or that. Like even today, she's like, can you come over? I'm like, no, I can't. I have school, I have to, but, I do have to say no. And I have learned to say no to others, to be able to focus on some of the things that I'm trying to achieve, and just also valuing my time, right?
Yeah.
And not allowing others to distract me, is also one of the other things that I've gotten a little bit better at.
Good, good, because it's very easy to get distracted by other people, by messages on your phone, by emails coming in, by people wanting you to go out and do stuff. But if it's going to pull you off track to achieving the goal that you need to get done, and that's, scheduling your day, and you said you've been doing that, so that's good for you, but scheduling your day actually helps with that too, because somebody says, hey, can you come and do this? Oh, actually at 2:00, I'm actually going to be doing this, right? You've already, my calendar is full for tomorrow, so you can start using that excuse. So Karina, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So what price are you willing to pay to chase your dream?
So this is one I struggle with, because for myself, and I would have no problem sacrificing almost anything. But it's not me that necessarily that would have to sacrifice. And so stepping into council, for example, running for city council and running into public sector, it's my family that will have to pay the sacrifices, right? And so it's not the question isn't for me, what would I be willing to sacrifice? My question is, what is my family willing to sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
So that's my big one. I don't, and that's a moving target, right? Like that's one that changes on the daily. And like today, I'm not even home yet, right? Like, and I left at 7 this morning. So so it's always different, right? Like being a mom I'm pulled in so many directions, and I wear so many hats in a day. So my sacrifices, are more my family's sacrifices. And you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. And I think it's important that we are willing to, sort of make a list of what we are willing to sacrifice to chase our dreams. And then there's also has to be the other question is what price won't we pay, right? There has to be, whatever that moral code or that guide, that guiding light or whatever that is within you, what price won't you pay? And maybe the price is, well, you know what? I will do this, but I'm not going to like for me, my Friday night and Saturday evening is very much off limits to my business. I don't schedule coaching calls. I don't do anything. I think I've said this before, because that's me and Marge time, right? That's just the way it is, because we are busy doing other things throughout the week. I'm not going to sacrifice. I'm not going to pay the price. I'm not going to sacrifice to make a few bucks to do a coaching call on a Friday night with a client. I'm sorry. We can schedule it another time. And if that doesn't work for you, well, then that's just fine. But, that's my time, and that's blocked out of my calendar, and I don't do anything else with it. So one other quick topic I want to just sort of touch on a little bit. And one of the things here is, she says, as you build your dream, your dream builds you. So as you build your dream builds you. What do you think that means? We're in a little 2-minute group discussion. What do you think that really means? Who wants to chime in?
It just becomes who you are. It's like you eat, breathe, and sleep it. Everybody knows it about you. And there's people kind of fall by the wayside that maybe used to ask you to do things before. They don't ask you anymore because they know you're not going to do it anyways. There's new people that come into your life that say, hey, you want to do this? And because they know that you are going in that direction. And it's just, it's who you are. It's just it's not like it's your identity, but it is the hat you wear.
Okay, good. Anyone else have some insight into that one? Yes, no? Okay.
I think too, don't your dreams change as you get closer to your dreams, right? Like it's not an end target, right? Like you're going past it always, right? So
well, I think it's sort of like the goal, right? You hit the target. Valerie ran her triathlon. She succeeded
exactly.
at that. So what's next, right? What's the next target? Do you just give up and go back to sitting on the couch eating ice cream every night, or do you keep working, right? I'm going to have some ice cream right after this call, by the way, because I definitely want some. Awesome. And I haven't been on the couch and eat some maple walnut ice cream. So I'm
going to go vacuum with my new vacuum.
Yay, vacuuming. Okay, so there's a question here that why is commitment such an integral part of living your dream and your purpose? And I think it's just that commitment, and I'm just going to, my 2 cents, that commitment is going to, you know, like in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talks about what is that burning desire within you, right? What is that burning desire within you to reach your dream? And if that spark has died out, then you need to reignite it, or you need to find another dream. It's that simple. So as we move into this next week, there's a couple of different things we're going to do. We're going to read chapter 5. So remember, 2 weeks from tonight, we're back. We'll have chapter 5 read. Don't go further, right? And we're going to do the exercises between page 66 and 71. We're just going to answer that stuff, 66 and 71, okay, in the workbook. So there's a couple of things that I want you to do over the next 2 weeks, right? We're gonna track our time, and this is all about guarding your purpose, okay? So plan your self-care this week at least twice for 30 minutes. Get a pedicure, take a walk, see a movie, go to a museum, whatever you do, do it for you. So I want you to commit to blocking out 2 30-minute time blocks or longer this week to do some self-care. And then post in the Facebook page what you did. And maybe it's, you know what, I laid on my couch, I put on some relaxing music, and I just thought. I just spent some time thinking, right? Whatever it may be. Maybe you did go for a walk. But post on the Facebook page after you've done it, hey, I've done my 2 30-minute blocks of self-care. I actually took a little bit longer. I did this. Give us and share what you did with the rest of the team, okay? And then we want to live your values daily for 1 week, live your purpose daily for 1 week, like all unapologetically be your authentic self, right? Reflect at least 10 minutes each day on what went well today, what didn't go well today, how did I feel today, did I sense and act on my intuition today, what is my next intentional action, what is my reflection, what is my adjustment, okay? And then do this time tracking exercise. So you've got this in here. Start, be engaged with it, right? Keep working on defining that purpose. Keep working on defining success. Make sure you're doing those daily affirmations and speaking positive into yourself to counteract the negative that's always coming at us. All right? And then answer the, so reflections for after I want my time back. After you do the exercise, there's 5 reflection questions. And then there's the journal from the journey. So journaling from the chapter 4, read what you learned in chapter 4 and how you've implemented it, okay? And then we'll be back in 2 weeks. And if you don't want to track your time for 2 weeks, that's fine. But, or schedule your time for 2 weeks, that's fine. But do the self-care, okay? And then become ready for chapter 5. Don't work ahead. And we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, so this week's reflections, so what pages are those on? I always get confused. I don't know why.
Okay, no, you're page 66, so you're going to read chapter 5, complete this week's reflections, and this week's reflections are the exercise. So the experiential learning is all my time back. Your reflections are, where is the reflections in this part? Now I'm lost.
Page 70.
Reflections. Yeah, page 70, 71, right? Reflection, journal from the journey.
Oh, I see. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, what actions you're going to do. Then there's some affirmations, or pick your own. Start, saying some affirmations to yourself on a daily basis. And one thing I'm going to do before we're all done is I'm going to offer you all a free coaching call if you want to take any of the steps that you've done a little bit further, okay? But I'm like, the next 2 weeks are like crazy for me, so we'll schedule that into September, and then before you're done, you're all going to get a free coaching call with me. that I'll let you know where you can book that later once I have some time carved out for that. Okay. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Have a great evening. Thank you for coming and participating. I hope you got value out of this tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing you back here in 2 weeks. Again, keep encouraging each other on the Facebook page, sharing stuff that you're discovering about you, sharing stuff you're discovering about your journey, positive stuff, struggles. If you need some encouragement, if you're having a rough day, then hop on there and you'll get lots of encouragement, okay?
Okay.
Everybody good? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.